All right, let's try a little thought experiment today. We're going to take one of the most beloved characters in pop culture and completely flip his story on its head. I'm talking about Joey Tribbiani. And we're going to imagine his journey from, the lovable goofball to a true master of his craft.
It sounds like a simple question, right? But think about it. If you apply that to Joey, it changes absolutely everything. It forces us to look past the catchphrases, past the charm, and ask a really interesting question. What if there's a serious artist hiding under all that?
I mean, we all know the guy. He's the loyal friend, the ultimate ladies' man, and of course, the guy who absolutely does not share food. His personality is just so crystal clear, so well-defined, it's almost impossible to picture him any other way. And then, of course, you have this. Just 3 little words that became a global phenomenon. This is the Joey everyone knows, the one everyone loves. It's simple, it's effective, and man, is it charming. Okay, so this is the journey we're mapping out. On one hand, you've got Joey the performer, the guy who lives for the spotlight, who loves playing Dr. Drake Ramoray. But on the other hand, there's this potential for a totally different person, a serious, disciplined actor who's all about the craft. So the big question is, how do you get from point A to point B?
Well, for a change this huge, you need something big to kick it off. You need a catalyst, right? A single moment that just completely shatters a person's entire perspective. Let's call it the painful rejection.
So, picture this. Joey walks into that audition room with all his usual confidence, totally ready to charm his way into the role. He delivers his lines, and he's expecting that same old positive reaction he always gets. But this time is different. The rejection isn't just a no, it's fast, and it's absolute.
And this is the reason they give him. It's the line that just cuts right through all that charm. See, it's not about his talent. It's not about his looks. It's about his entire identity. The industry, the very people he wants to impress, they just see him as a caricature, a joke.
And that realization just hits him like a ton of bricks. It completely reframes his whole career. All of a sudden, every success he's ever had feels empty. Sure, he's a lovable joke, but he's still a joke. And that one thought, that becomes the fire, the fuel for everything that's about to happen. So right then and there, he makes a choice. He's going to prove every single one of them wrong. And this next part, this is his Rocky moment. This is the training montage, the hard, unglamorous, grinding work of completely reinventing how he even thinks about acting.
Yeah, we're way past just memorizing lines here. We're talking about him signing up for night classes, diving into intense method training, rehearsing scenes over and over and over until they're perfect, and actually studying scripts to understand why a character does something, not just what he says next. This is pure, heads-down, focused work.
And you know what? This is where Joey's secret weapon comes into play. His persistence. I mean, think about it. We've seen this guy face a million rejections, and he always bounces back. That quality that we always just saw as a kind of funny character trait, now it becomes his single greatest strength. It's the engine that's going to drive this whole transformation. So, his first real break in this new world, it's not going to be some big blockbuster. Not at all. It'd probably be a small part in a little indie film. No laugh track, no catchphrases. Just a quiet, emotional, raw performance where, for the very first time, he's not performing anymore. He's just being.
But here's the thing. A change this massive doesn't just happen in a bubble. Of course not. It's going to create a ripple effect that touches everyone around him, especially the most important people in his life.
And you have to think his friendship with Chandler would change the most. I mean, their entire friendship is built on a foundation of inside jokes, watching Baywatch, and playing foosball, right? It's this perfect brotherhood of lighthearted chaos. So what happens when one half of that duo suddenly gets serious?
The whole dynamic would have to evolve. You know, those nights spent watching TV, they'd probably turn into nights where Joey is just poring over scripts, and the constant jokes, they'd slowly be replaced by this shared, much deeper respect. Chandler would literally watch his best friend transform himself through pure willpower. How could that not be inspiring?
And the rest of the gang? They'd all have to adapt too. Monica, being the perfectionist she is, would absolutely admire his new discipline. Rachel would probably see it as proof that anyone can totally reinvent themselves. Ross? He might finally connect with Joey on an intellectual level. Talking about character motivations instead of sandwiches. And Phoebe, of course, with her incredible insight, would probably just smile and say, "I knew you had it in you all along."
And this is a really crucial point. This whole journey isn't about erasing the old Joey. Not at all. It's about him taking all of his best qualities, his loyalty, his emotional honesty, his warmth, and folding them into this new, focused identity. He doesn't become someone else. He becomes more himself, not less.
So all this hard work, this personal evolution, it's all building to one final defining moment, the real breakthrough.
And it would be a role that achieves the ultimate dream for any actor. A performance so total, so completely immersive, the people in the audience forget they're watching Joey Tribbiani. They only see the character. He finally achieves that artistic invisibility, which, is the highest praise you can get. He's not Joey from Friends anymore. He's just a great actor, period.
Okay, but as we start to wrap this up, let's zoom out for a second. Because this whole thought experiment, it isn't really just a fun what-if about a sitcom character. It's a story about something way more universal. It's about identity.
Think about it. We all get put into boxes, don't we? We get labeled by our friends, our family, the people we work with. Oh, you're the funny one. You're the quiet one. You're the smart one. And if we're not careful, after a while, we can start to believe that those labels are all we're ever going to be.
And what this whole hypothetical journey with Joey really shows us is that real growth, it happens when you decide to defy those expectations. It's about finding the courage to become a deeper, more complex version of yourself, even if it makes the people around you a little uncomfortable at first.
So that's really the big takeaway here. The potential to be more than what people see, that exists in every single one of us. And that just leaves me with one last question for you to chew on. If you had the power to completely reinvent one character's story, to give them a totally different path, who would it be and why?